let's talk about CM Punk and All Elite Wrestling, because 4 years ago today, he showed up, he returned to wrestling, one of the greatest ovations I have ever heard in professional wrestling. There were fans crying in the crowd. What a moment, easily a top 5 moment in AEW history for me. I absolutely loved it. But the question, which I'm going to pose to both of you guys, is did CM Punk help or hurt AEW more? Now, obviously, he did do both of those things in different ways throughout his time, but when you're talking about overall, which one did he do more? Clark, what's your take?
He helped him at the lowest moment in AEW history, was the time in which he left and WWE was at their hottest, telling the Cody Rhodes story. They flipped the script. They started stealing the guys, and we got excited about that for a second. Guess who we still had to talk about because of CM Punk? AEW. He kept him in the lexicon when he moved over to WWE. He helped it more than he hurt it. He didn't leave it better than he found it. He left it about the same, but he helped it better than he hurt it.
Actually, honestly, a really good perspective on that, and one which to be honest with you, Clark, again, I hate agreeing with you, but I'm going to agree with you. I mean, my thoughts are pretty much the exact same, but what about you, Shad?
Look, man, I found a Facebook memory. I literally posted cult of personality. By the way,
Wow.
it's kind of crazy. I think he helped the product, and he helped the company by a lot. I know the bitter taste of how he left is what a lot of people speak about, and also the standpoint that he's absolutely killing it in the WWE, and that was a big deal. But that's not a WWE and AEW thing. That is a CM Punk thing, and that's just the nature of his star power. And say what you want to say, he made his return back to WWE. He made his return back to professional wrestling, coming back to AEW. That episode of Rampage was an absolute like stellar moment in pro wrestling history. The place was packed. The crowd was erupting in Chicago. They like it's one of those situations where we knew he was returning and they booked it so close by the name, and everyone was still surprised and excited throughout it all. And I think CM Punk's time in AEW brought a lot more eyes to the product. It made them really feel like a alternative to the WWE, but an alternative to a standpoint about a lot what CM Punk was talking about before he left the WWE and why he left the WWE. So like I feel like he did in a way bring a sense of like real fan, like a different fan base to their product. And yeah, the ending was rocky. There was a lot of drama that may happen, but I don't think it's one of those situations where like as soon as Punk dipped, the company is done and dead in the water. They just had to change up the identity a little bit, even if they had to do that. To be honest with you, like it is more petty drama by that, but I think it's more of a help. I don't think AEW is harmed by it by any way. Like if you want to say one thing is harm, okay, he went back to the WWE and he's become a big deal over there, but that's part of the game. I mean, we're going to see stuff like this happen on either side all the time. AEW has edge, right? You know, nobody expected him to leave. He came to AEW, so that's just part of the nature of the game. And I think throughout it all, I think it was more of a positive than a negative.
Yeah, again, I completely do agree. I mean, it's one of those things where do I think he increased the amount of tribalism towards AEW after he left? Yes, I definitely think that. But more people and a lot more people know the letters AEW because of him.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, that helps the company overall. It does. I mean, Jinder Mahal did an interview yesterday with TMC where he was asked about Tony Khan's tweet about him. And during that, he said, well, I actually think it was good that he tweeted that. Why? Well, because it got people to talk about Jinder Mahal. It got people to talk about Jinder Mahal versus Seth Rollins. It got people to talk about WWE. But it also got people to talk about Hook. It also got people to talk about Hook versus Samoa Joe. And it also got people to talk about AEW. In this case, it's a similar thing.
It created collision. I mean, look at it this way. It's the same exact CM Punk in AEW and WWE. Which one has he had a deeper impact on? The WWE, the wheels were already spinning. Everything was already good. He just added to something that was already wheeling downhill. But it is the exact same CM Punk in both. CM Punk had different impacts on both. He had an opportunity to have a greater impact on AEW. He had a greater impact on AEW, whether positive or negative, but he had one. No doubt. Like you said, Hook, all of that, the eyeballs, all of it. It is what it is.
I wouldn't say it's the same CM Punk. I think MJ. No. I'm not saying it in a derogatory way. It's a bit of a PG Punk in the WWE. Let's be real. Like, he's not as cutting edge in the WWE as he was in AEW. I think the character and what the Punk's promos in AEW were so reminiscent of like stuff he was cutting back when he was in WWE. Just a lot more like just nitty gritty, personal, like man, him and MJF, man, like that is such a legendary feud in AEW because it's just the most authenticity that you have. You have basically Danielson versus Miyagi in a sense of like characters, very different, but just straight like slick tongue, like just cutting promos off the whim. Gonna make you, and you loved it. You had to watch the promo battle.
They went 18 minutes.
It was honestly incredible. It's top 5 promo battles ever.
Yeah, where we have here, I will say, I think Punk has been doing phenomenal in the WWE. I think his feud with Drew and Seth has been great. Everything with Roman and Heyman, but it's not the same guy. Like I don't get excited to see Punk promos that often on the Raw. Like I'll be real with you.
I would agree.
There's some of them that are pretty decent, but like some of the time he's gonna be telling us, "Oh, Lyman, I'm in Philadelphia." And
it's great to be alive in insert name of city.
May I read a quick comment?
Just like the Flyers. Hockey.
This is my favorite
Go
one.
for it, Clark.
This podcast grifter really doesn't get the gimmick when it comes to Blake Monroe, obviously, but he just said he just added curse words in AEW. Didn't Cody Rhodes do the same thing in WWE?
But it's because it's a different age.
He say
That's
the
why.
F-word?
You want to talk about curse
the
words? You want to talk about curse
Wasn't
words?
that him?
Yeah.
Dude, it's the same thing with Blake Monroe and Mariah May. Her promos in NXT is completely different than what it is.
But to be fair, guys, I'm not being funny, but I don't think we can blame this on the talent when one product is TV 14, one is TV PG or TV unrated.
I'm not blaming the talent. I completely agree with you on that standpoint. But that's PG Punk is not a derogatory term. He's in a PG atmosphere.
I mean, do you remember the BBC in your very country, Ben, booked Rage Against the Machine and said, please don't curse. And guess what they did? Gave you guys 30 minutes of dead TV. They had to literally take it off the television.
Hey, Ben, there is one word that
they had to take it off the TV.
WWE they will spam the hell out of the B word for women's promos. That word.
Oh, they love it.
Spam the hell out of that one.
It's like me saying right. It's just automatic. It's just in the vocabulary. Don't know what to say. B word. That's how it comes across. But Fernando says Punk has caused drama everywhere he's been, especially back in WWE back in the day. It is true, and this is what I said a couple of weeks ago when we spoke about Punk as well. I think both AEW and Punk needed that situation to happen because I think AEW as a company learned so much about what not to do and how to deal with situations from having to deal with that situation. And at some point they were going to have to deal with it. It just sucks it was with CM Punk. But meanwhile, CM Punk, I think, learned a lot himself during that run that he hadn't before. And he kind of matured a little bit following it. Because let's not act like, let's not act like that press conference wasn't the most embarrassing thing you've ever seen from Punk.
Oh, it's brutal.
There's more policing for him now in WWE. Like, respect to Tony Khan. I think he's a phenomenal guy. And I think the issue is that he didn't police him enough while he was there, and the camaraderie to people that he honestly should be loyal to in a sense with the Young Bucks, with Kenny Omega, with a person like Adam Hangman Page. they kind of felt like, nah, man, like that's not cool. This dude is, in a sense, I get it, he's CM Punk, but they look at it, it's kind of like an outsider coming in, you know, and then just kind of doing what he want to do when stuff is kind of done in a certain way. Not to anyone's fault. That's just how personalities, especially when you in a combat sport, right? You feel like you should be at the best, and that should always be what it is. But personalities are gonna clash in ways like that. So it is what it is. But I feel like WWE, yeah, they're just policing it a little bit better for them.
To
Yeah.
your point, I think it's interesting. Like some people function really well being a big fish in a small pond. And that's realistically what CM Punk was at AEW at the time, right? He was the biggest fish. Everyone had to respect him, and that's probably what he assumed.
Yeah.
At least in WWE, right? He's got more room to swim, if we're going to go with the pond analogy, right? It's a bigger aquarium. So he's got more room to swim around, and he's going to run into less trouble. I think it is a better fit. But to Ben's point earlier, I and yours, Shadi, I agree. Like, it isn't one of those like, oh, he's a different Punk, he's completely changed. It's just a better fit. It doesn't mean he didn't do well for AEW. Multiple things can be true at once here. And he can absolutely have boosted AEW. AEW can have learned from it given that run. I just think it's such a shocking thing in today's modern wrestling era to see somebody of that caliber. It was shocking when he left WWE. We always bring that up. He took his ball and went home.
That's true.
It was shocking then. And so, like, it is interesting. It's like there's a bit of a pattern there. I don't see it happening in WWE anytime soon, but it was shocking.
I've just seen the best comment ever. DCX Warlord. He helped Jack Perry finally get a push. Pun intended.
Yes. Yes.